the way they play this Joseki has changed so much. So they didn't have much of an opening in this game. They went straight into the middle game. So this corner in the lower left is going to be my Fuseki talking point in this game. Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Nine-Dan-Go player. And on the 6th of August, that was yesterday for me here as I'm taking this video, they played the LG Cup Semifinal. When a Japanese player is doing well in an international tournament, I do feel the need to take a video. It's been decades while the Japanese were not doing so well in international tournaments. So now we have ICHIRIKI doing well in a number of tournaments, and he's dominating the Japanese scene. He has 4 of the top 7 titles. So players like Iyama and Shibano, they do challenge him domestically, but definitely he's the player to look at when it comes to international tournaments. So the black player is BYUNG Sangil, a Korean player, and he won the LG Cup last year. And ICHIRIKI, his recent win in international tournaments is the LG Cup, and he was the winner in 2024. Okay, let's get into the game. Okay, a very popular opening here. And white pincers. So pinchering is already slightly unusual. It's a very active move. White could have played a more passive move like this. This could be the Komi at d5. It could be a knight's move at d6. And black would probably play on the bottom side, and white would play a big point there. So 3 is a big point also. 2 big points, 2 side points there that are big. And this would probably be about even. So white pincers, and black played here, which is another slightly unusual move. With AIs, you know that if you play this move, or you could play a 3-3 invasion in the top left corner, and that would give you a good score with the AI usually. This one has been a very popular Joseki in recent years. However, there was a new variation that was played between Iyama and ICHIRIKI, where black is trying to push twice here so that black can attach at e7. So the way it's supposed to work is if white plays here, then black can attach here, and this sets up a geta. So if white pushes through at d7, this is going to be a collapse for white because black can capture an ageta, or a net, as we say in English. So this captures the 5 white stones, and white would have to avoid that, but it would probably be a bad variation for white. So the first time I saw it was when Yama played this move against black 13, and this prevents the net. So in this variation, black's going to run out of liberties before he can make a net. So it's not going to work. So black would continue with this one. Something like that. And it would be a trade. White gets a good deal of territory. So this was a relatively new variation, which maybe ICHIRIKI, as the white player here, maybe he was thinking of doing that. But just because I showed you that variation, I wouldn't advise players to think you know all about it, because there's also a move, for instance, like this, where black is looking at the attachment at b4 and sometimes can capture the corner. So like if white plays something like this, then black can play here. And this captures the corner. Sometimes it's a ko or something. It gets really complicated. So I'll leave it there. There's a lot of complicated variations in this Joseki. So that could be a reason that black avoided that. Black plays here. And here we see a lot of options for white. It's interesting that black didn't, like if black didn't want to play the pressing move, black could have jumped out and played here. This would have been more easy to understand, but the game move is more flexible. So the old style move, we used to play here all the time. So this used to be the basic Joseki, and black would play here. And since we're going old style, we'll do it all the way. So there were other variations for 5, but this would be the old style. Again, white 9. When I researched with AlphaGo, I saw all sorts of moves instead of this hanging connection, but this was the old Joseki. So the issue with this Joseki is that there's a cutting point here at e5. So white has to avoid black cutting there, and that's why I'm adding a hanging connection here. So something like this if black wants to surround the bottom side. And black would be getting a lot of territory. So modern players like this. AIs tend to like this for black too. Another option that I liked would be to play an attachment on the top here. And like this, and jumping out maybe, if black connects at 4. And this would be leaning against the bottom side area that black is starting to build. And it would be, the strategy for white would be to give that area to black and make a strong group in the process. So this would be a good way to make that white group strong. When white doesn't do that and presses on this side, it looks like he's more interested in making a strong group on that side, and then maybe at some point he's going to invade here. So it depends on how much you want to invade the bottom side. It depends on the position, obviously. So here black plays here. So that's, well, this move that white played, it's what I would call the modern Joseki. It's the move that everyone plays now. The two blacks moves were a bit unusual, including this kick here, which is really, I'm seeing it for the first time. Most of the time you see black play here, and if white plays here, black can press out, and something like this would follow. White would get a very good shape on the left side, and black would get a strong group there. The shape here is sort of, it's a bit awkward that black has a bad shape here, and so that's giving white some extra territory in the corner too. But black makes up for it by having a strong shape on the outside. In this game, there's enough room on the right for white to try to reduce black's territory from that side. So one option would be something like this, where white's getting a position there on the right. This would be okay for white. White's got 2 wasted stones, so it's this stone and this stone are wasted. But white did get great shapes on both sides in return for that. So that's an even trade. Okay, so black kicked here, and white played down. So this is a very strong move. A safe move would be to play here. Something like this. So white would get a position on the left side and would have a fairly strong shape on the outside, while black would be getting the corner territory. So this would be the passive way to play, and it would be pretty much an even game. But I can understand white wanting to avoid this when it's pretty obviously what black was trying to do. He didn't like the fact that it was sort of playing into black's idea here, black's strategy. And also, ICHIRIKI just loves to start a big fight. So this was an opportunity for him to do that, and he played here and slided. So black has a weak group, white has a weak group, and so like almost automatically it starts a middle game. And we will continue to see white avoiding the trades. So white's going for a big fight here. So for instance, white could have pushed through here, and this would lead to a kind of a trade, because now black has an advantage in the fight on the bottom side, and white again would be thinking of switching to the right here and maybe sacrificing those 2 stones. They're not so big when white can play this forcing move and then get a Hanetsugi on the second line, so white can reduce that black territory. So there's the idea that white can afford to sacrifice those 2 stones. White did get some territory on the left side. So that would be a trade. But when he jumps here, he's going for a running fight. And for the time being, white has prevented black from covering at b7, because if black does that, and white's going to push through and cut. So this would be a kind of a collapse for black. So now white has to crawl on the second line, because covering at b7 is really big. If white plays away, then black can cover here. And this corner, it's not really properly alive. So it sort of depends. But say white plays here, and we get to this shape, it's just not alive in the corner. This would be a ko. So white could play here and get a ko out of it. But already black has a potential connection underneath, plus the ko in the corner, so that's obviously a good result for black. Okay, so white has to crawl. And black pushes here. So there were 2 directions of play, and I'm not sure which is better. So the other way would be to play here and expand the bottom side. White would be pushing out, but black would be heading towards the upper part of the left side. So that's a good area for black to be moving in, because it's an area where white had a potential, you might say, territory or area there that white could dominate. And so black's reducing that in the process of defending the black group. So the important thing is that black's group is heading to an area that white would have liked to expand. In the game, black pushed on this side. And this also is a kind of an idea where black is pushing from the center and pushing until that group gets strong enough, and then he plays the move to defend the bottom side. So it's a more conservative way to defend the bottom side, but before black had to do that, black got a lot of forcing moves from the center. So that's a kind of a flow of the stones that makes sense. So white immediately invaded, and the double hane. Black's looking at a way that black can cut white off. So black plays this, and so white connects to save the 2 white stones on the right, and black gets to cut white off. And if I was playing with black, I would be happy enough with this result. So black is, not only is black cut white off in the center, but there's also a cut here, which is going to be a very efficient way of capturing those 2 white stones, which are the cutting stones, or at least this one on the 4th line is a cutting stone. And so there's always a point where it becomes important to capture the cutting stone. And the fact that black can cut here on the 6th line and get some territory, some significant territory. It's less than 10 points, but it's something like 8 points there that black gets while capturing the cutting stone. It makes it worth it. So the move I have an issue with is this peep here. It's kind of a fake shape move. The shape move is to play the knight's move here. So this is much better shape. One of the reasons I don't like this move is because up to this point, it still leaves a weakness here. So it hasn't really, black hasn't really played anything yet because there's still that cut in the center of the board. And so it's not a strong shape. In fact, black even sort of wants to connect there at the mark point, in which case the peep would be a mistake, because black has lost the option to play this move. So this move is gone now. So for the time being, it's probably going to be bad when white can do stuff like this and capture some black stones. So usually, even if white doesn't do this immediately, white might play in the center first and save those stones before doing this. It's a much less healthy shape for black when black has this kind of local disaster about to happen. So if black plays here, it's actually not so easy for white to link up to the right. So if white plays here, which seems to be the most natural move, black still has this peep here, which can cut something off, so like this. Or if white jumps, black can still play here. This is a bit of a headache here with black threatening to push through at Q7 and cutting at, that's P8. So say white plays here. It's not even connected, really. So there's still this move. It's a bad shape for white. Or if white plays here, black can still do stuff like this and cut off that stone in the corner. So black has a follow-up move there and a much better shape in the center of the board. Okay, back to the game. So black is trying to play a lot of big points while allowing white to live. So I'm still thinking that I would capture this stone. Maybe black can play once here first. A small difference. But yes, so this would be an important move because it would make all the black groups healthy. So there's obviously this group, which didn't have any eyes yet, but also this group. It's a 2-space extension there. And so it would take away the bite when white plays a move like this, or it would take away any threats there because everything is connected. I think it's significant for black to play one move and make it all strong. That would allow black to attack white's shape in the center is not 100% yet, so that black would have options of attacking later. But instead, black protected the corner and white cut here. So this is where the game starts to get really, really exciting. Obviously, the ladder favors white, and black extended. So as long as black can capture the white stone with a move here, it's not going to be a big issue. So white plays once here and plays here. So he's trying to make Semeai of the center and a play here. So it's either capturing these 2 black stones is something that white would like to do, or white wants to play here and cut off black's group on the left. White wants to be able to do one of those 2, and white started pushing in the center. So for the time being, a move such as this, which would be going after black's stones in the center, and a move like this, Semeai. So black extended once, extended twice. And then he played here. So this was a counterattack where he's going to try to start attacking white's connection to the right. And this was a mistake because white's group in the lower right, it's become small in this fight. So black probably had to play here. So this is a key point in the center, or he had to play here. So it's one of these two. If he plays here, white's going to play a hane here. And locally, this black group is going to struggle just a little bit, but it should be able to escape out, and the fight would continue. So this would be a big fight. If black plays here, though, black is establishing a stronger position in the center. And the worry, of course, is that white will play here and cut black off on the left. So you have to know that black has a key point here, which is sort of like the center of three stones, which is a proverb says you play in the center of three stones. It sort of doesn't fit this position because there's 4 white stones in a row. But I'd say it's still the same basic type of shape. If I wanted to align it with the proverb, I would just count these 3 stones. Where you play in the center of 3 stones, 1 space away from them, like this. This is a kind of a basic shape move. And white would play maybe here. You keep the dame filled to put a lot of pressure on the white group. And black would be getting a fairly good shape in this. This would be a winning variation for black because black has such good shape that he's going to be able to settle this group on the left side. White still will have some issues with the group on the right, this group here, especially the fact that white has kind of a loose connection to the right. It does leave some weaknesses there. Instead, black played here. So he's making an attack against white's connection to the right, and he's sort of wishing that he can capture the cutting stone with this. Once white plays here, ignoring black's threat and cutting off black's group on the left, this is starting to look really troublesome for black. So not only is black's group on the left here suddenly very weak, but also groups like this on the bottom side, when white plays something, for instance, like this, black does have to deal with that. And so this stone here in the center can sometimes become a liability. There's also the fact that there's this huge hane in the center, which white is going to get to in this variation. So this is already a troublesome variation for black. And black goes ahead and takes, well, on the right side, it's going to be really difficult for white to make 2 eyes for this for the time being. So if we look at it just locally, it's going to be a dead shape. So as long as black can play the attachment at 6 and white has no strong counterattack, this white group, it just doesn't have room to live. So white starts with a hane and then plays this move. So this looks really wild, but it's a very strong attack against the black group. So with the hane here, white has reinforced the stones in the center. So that means that white can fight strongly. If black pushes through and cuts here, white can pull out. And usually white's going to play here. It's going to be really difficult for black to break through here. And it means that black has very few options in the center. So he continued with this move. So this is, obviously it's taking away one of white's eyes, but it's also creating damezumari. So it's creating a forcing move right here, which is significant. So the reason this having a black stone at e6 is significant is because if black tries to get some room on the left side, so with a move like this, black's trying to make 2 eyes, but it's not going to work because black needs to connect at 5. So if black doesn't play that and keeps on jumping out, there's a double peep here, which is going to capture some important stones. And black still doesn't have eyes. Okay, so black plays here. And white needs 1 more stone on the left to kill the black group, but he defends first. So this defends white's connection, and it's actually an opportunity for black to save the group on the left. He played here, but for instance, if he had played here, and he had a forcing move at 3, that's a oyo otoshi. White will probably answer like this, and black can get some more space on the left side. So in this variation, maybe it's going to survive, but at the very least white can cut here. And this would capture one of the two black stones. So if black answers here, white pushes through here. And if black answers here, white can capture this one. It would still be a losing variation for black, but maybe his group on the left would survive. In the game, he continues. So if black plays here, this would be the correct shape. However, white is already winning the race to capture. So if white plays something like this, black doesn't have very many liberties for that black group on the left. So white's going to win this race to capture. And so he's playing a more active move. He played here. And white cuts, threatening to capture the one black stone. So black protected that. And this is the vital shape point here. It's actually a very beautiful sequence where white is always making two threats. So white, of course, is threatening black stones in the center. So at this point, it's a wedge that white is threatening. But white is also threatening to push through here and capture the two black stones. So let's just look through all those variations. So first of all, if black plays immediately here, this actually is a net. So black cannot break out. So that finishes that off. And he played here. So this looks like it's the only move to save black stones on both groups. So he has to find ways to save the two stones here while saving these black stones in the center. So that's what he's trying to do with this attachment. And white plays here. Another great move, which is filling black's liberties in the center while stopping black from pushing through here and saving the two stones. So let's do this one first. If black were to play here, this is a net again. So white can push through here, threatening the snapback. So there's a snapback at L12. And black would usually defend like this. If black takes the stone, white gets to take these guys. So that's how that is working. So maybe something like this. And this is just very painful for black. And the center is just falling apart. So this is bad. So let's try the other move for black. The other move is this one, where black captures the stone. But this is actually forcing towards the right. So yeah, this is another net. Black played this solid connection. So for the time being, black's two stones are okay. So if white pushes through here. So this would save the two stones. And if this happens, this white group is in trouble. So now he's going to probably lose the Semeai. So he doesn't want to do that. But he plays this one. So black could move out in the center. So what's happening here? Black has escaped, and white's not going to go after the two stones for the time being. But the group on the left, it doesn't have so many liberties. So black's going to lose the Semeai again. White's connected out in the center and has got a lot of space there. So white's going to win the race to capture. And this is really big. Capturing this black group in the left was really big. So black pushes through here. So black has saved the two stones, but white plays here. So this is so beautiful. There's so many holes in white's shape. It looks so dangerous, but nothing works. So black tried. So he's going to start filling liberties. He's trying to put white into Damezmari. It's actually going to end up with only a one move difference. So white played here. He connected all the stones. At this point, white could have added a stone to the center and captured black's center group, and that still would have been a win for white. But, you know, he's read out the whole sequence. So he's not going to give up anything. So black pushes through here, and white pushes through here. So at this point, there's a number of moves that black can look at, but none of them work. In the game, he played here. Another move like this one would be relatively simple. White plays here, threatening a cut at O10. So black has to connect there, and white just captures the black stone. So the other way for black to play would be to capture, but this is it's still not working. Black cannot connect there, so that's bad, obviously. So the other move that black could consider is this one. And in this variation, black can actually capture the two cutting stones, but he dies anyway. So this is so beautiful. So white connects here. Black has to cut, and like this. So it's Semeai between white's group in the center this white group here, and the black group on the right, in the center. But black has to defend here once, so white can capture. So white wins by a 1-move difference. In the game, black played here, so white captured, and black cut here. So that's a double Atari. Looks like maybe black's saved something, but it's not going to work. So white played the cut here, and black has to choose where to take. So obviously you can't take at N11 because that's suicide, right? So black has to capture either the 2 stones or the 1 stone. So if black captures the 1 stone, white connects here, and look at that Damizumari. Shortage of liberties where black cannot save everything. So black would maybe go after these 2, and white would capture these, because if black disconnects, it ends with this move. So that's a collapse. So black took here. So this was the other way that black could take. So he didn't take any of the 1 stones, but took the 2 stones. White connects here. So this is a forcing move, threatening to capture 3 black stones on the right. So capturing these 3 black stones would be really big, and black answered here, and now white can connect here. So again, black is running out of liberties in the center of the board and cannot connect here. So if black connects, it's not even a call. White just fills from this side. So black had to give up that and has accomplished nothing really, but what black has for the time being killed the white group on the right. There's some bad aji associated with that white group, but maybe it's going to die. It's not important because black's group on the left is in a pretty hopeless situation. So black pushed through and cut, and he played here. Actually, this is a point where I can imagine black surviving if white allows that to happen. So it would be this variation. So if black plays here, this would be an attempt to make 2 eyes. So in this variation, black could do stuff like this, and cutting at 14 is a clever move, avoiding the squeeze like this. So if white plays here, black gets some extra squeezing stones, which give black an extra eye there. So that would be a quick eye for black on the left side there. By cutting here, white gives black only 1 forcing move there. Means that eye is not complete yet, so there's no point in squeezing. If black plays on this side, that completely destroys black's extra eye there on the left side. So cutting at 14 is a clever move, and black would continue by pushing through here. And if white plays this way, black's got an eye in sente and can live like this. But it would still be a loss for black. So black's still losing by a large margin in this variation, even though white allowed black to live. Maybe ICHIRIKI would find a way to kill the black group. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not necessary. And so black went for this variation. The problem with this one is that black only has 5 liberties now. So if we assume a white stone here and a black stone here, so that exchange could be played at any time, black only has 5 liberties. So the only group that black can play a Semeai against is white's group in the center. And it's really hard to even kill it. If we assumed a living black group, it would still be difficult to kill the white group. But here it's just got too many liberties anyway. So after, at this point, black resigned the game, and it was quite a convincing, exciting win for ICHIRIKI. I mostly enjoyed the fight here in the center, where white played these beautiful shaped moves that were throughout this fight. It was double threats where white was threatening to capture black stones in the center or the 2 stones on the right. And so it looks like he completely outcalculated BYUN Sangil in this fight in the center. So yeah, up to 124 moves, white won by resignation. ICHIRIKI is in the final. The other finalist is going to be Shim Minjung, the Korean player. And so they're going to be playing in January. I'll try to follow that game also. Thank you for watching. And that was my video about the semifinals of the LG Cup.